Good morning. Today you will learn how to evaluate an expression by using the order of operations. The order of operations in the elementary school, you might have learned it as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, where P stands for parenthesis, which is looking like this, and E stands for the exponent. And an example for an exponent will be if the base is 3 and the exponent is 4, so this will be the exponent. And multiply and divide. The reason why I group them together is think they are friends. Multiply symbol and division symbol. The only tricky part for students to remember is if you do happen to have multiply and divide in the same expression, whichever comes first from left to right is the one you are going to be dealing with first. The same thing applies for addition and subtraction. Think both of them together as friends. Whoever comes in first is what you will tackle. Pause the video, read the question, understand the question, and then start the question again. The sponsor's cost is given by the expression. So this expression actually goes to the sponsor's cost. So you need to understand what things represent, and always the starting point will be an expression or an equation. So the sponsor's cost is given by 12 parenthesis 3j plus 2s plus 30. Once you identify what the expression stands for, the next thing you need to know is what the j and the s represents. J is the cost of the juice drink. So I'm going to write J stands for juice. And S is the cost of a sandwich. So I'm going to write S as sandwich. Now, the juice drink costs $1.25. So the juice is now $1.25. The sandwich costs $2. So the sandwich is now $2. $2 for the sandwich and $1.25 for the juice. So I'm looking at the question, what is the sponsor's cost? They want you to find the cost. So if I solve this expression, that'll give me the answer, which is the cost. So I'm going to write the 12 as it is, open my parenthesis, keep my 3, and J. I'm going to replace J, which is $1.25. So I'm going to multiply 3 by $1.25, and I'm going to put the plus sign. Then I have the 2, and S stands for the sandwich, and I'm going to replace S by 2, and I'm going to bring the plus sign and the 30. Now I'm going to come back to this expression again where I all have only numbers to deal with. Now within the parentheses, remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parenthesis comes first. So you deal with the parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you have 3 multiplying by $1.25, and then you are adding a 2 multiplying by a 2. So even within the parentheses, you need to follow the order of operations. So if you have addition and multiplication, like in this case, I have multiply and addition and a multiplying, you need to deal with the multiplying first. So 3 times 1.25 will give you 3.75, and 2 times 2 will give me a 4, and my last step should always be my addition. Keep that in mind. The last step should always be addition or subtraction. So I still have a parenthesis to deal with. So I'm going to bring my 12, and within the parenthesis I have 3.75 plus 4. I'm going to add them using my calculator, and I'm going to get 7.75 plus 30. Now I just have one number in the parenthesis and it is multiplying by 12. Keep in mind the parenthesis is just a single number in the parenthesis and a number outside means I'm multiplying. 12 times 7.75. Use your calculator and multiply 12 and 7.75 and check and see that you get 93 plus 30. 93 plus 30 gives you 123. Answer is B. Now look at this question. Evaluate the expression when x is equals 4. So let's write this as 9. X means 9 times x. So I'm substituting x as 4. And I'm going to write the 3. X, I'm going to replace once again by 4 plus 2. I am getting the 4 from here. So now look at the numerator. 9 times 4 is 36. Write the 3 and keep in mind you need to get rid of the parentheses, which means you need to solve whatever is inside the parentheses until you get a single number. 4 plus 2 is 6. 36, there is nothing else to do at this point. Numerator 36, denominator 3 times 6. Keep that in mind. This is multiplying 3 times 6, 18. Use your calculator, substitute 36 divided by 18 to get the answer 2. Look at this question, g equals 6. Now you got g squared. So I'm going to write this as g is 6 and the exponent is 2 minus 8. 2 times g is 6 minus 5. Now 6 to the power of 2 is 6 times 6, which will be 36. So 6 squared, or 6 to the power of 2, is 36 minus 8. Now keep in mind you have multiplying and you have a subtraction. Remember, multiply or division comes before you can add or subtract. So I am going to be multiplying 2 times 6, which is going to be 12 minus 5. Now let's tackle the numerator. 36 minus 8 is going to give me 28. 12 minus 5 is going to give me 7. Now comes the last step. I have a number on the top and a number on the bottom. Divide and get the answer 4. Look at this question. Pause the video, read the question, understand the question. There are 2 stores. Store number 1 is the Posters Plus. The second store is the More Posters. So you got 2 options to choose from. So I'm going to write Posters Plus is my first option and More Posters is my second option. So the first one, the cost to buy P posters is given by the expression 3.5p plus 6.75. So the cost will be 3.5p plus 6.75. In the second store, the cost is given by a different expression. So the cost in this case will be 4.25p plus 2.55. Now, once I got the 2 expressions, I need to know what the p stands for. So I'm going to go back to the expression and I'm going to find out what p stands. P stands for the posters. And now I'm reading the question. Which store has the lower cost for 5 posters? So if P represents the number of posters, P is now going to be 5. I'm going to go to my first option, 3.5, and I'm going to get 5 posters in this store. So I'm going to replace P by 5. And 3.5 times 5, keep that in mind. You are multiplying before you are adding or subtracting. That gives me 17.5 plus 6.75. Last step, add them together and you will get $24.25. Now let's go to the second store, 4.25. And what happens if I buy 5 posters from the second store? 4.25 times 5 is going to give me $21.25. Pause the video, use your calculator, substitute the numbers and check it for yourself. 2.55 will give me $23.80. The question is asking which store has a lower cost. The first Posters Plus cost gives me $24.25. The second one only comes to $23.80. I'm going to add a zero to look it like money. So obviously, I get a lower cost at the more posters.